right, so the reason we do health nuggets is we try to take care not just of our spiritual health, but also of our physical health. And today, I would like to talk about something that's very common that I'm sure all of you have been affected by at some point in your life. And you will be still probably. But before we talk about digestion, I would like to kind of have a short overview of our digestive system. This is something that I haven't really been talking a lot about it lately, but I find it very, very important to be reminded. As most of you know, I work in the ER, and I can guarantee every time I go to work, there will be at least a few cases of abdominal problems or digestive problems. That's kind of the staple of the day, every day. So, which shows that there is still a lot of teaching and a lot of things that we need to consider, because we tend to kind of follow just whatever everyone else does without really questioning to see, is it really good for my health to do that? So today we'll just be mentioning a few principles that if you want to give it a try, or if you're already trying them, it's just a good reminder. So let's just have a short overview of our digestive system. As you all know, when we eat, the food goes in the mouth. So it's very important for us to chew our food really well so that the saliva can mix with the digestive enzymes, and that will help the process be more smooth. Remember, the stomach does not have teeth. So if you don't chew your food well, it will stay chunky. And that does not help us to get the nutrients we need. So as the food from the mouth through the esophagus, which is a fibromuscular tube, goes into the stomach. Now, also for the digestion to take place, we need the digestive enzymes, we need the liver to produce digest some of the biles that help with the digestion of oils and fats, which is very important. And then the gallbladder, where is the storage of the bile, and that's also very, very important, because without it, we always have issues. Now, the stomach is a muscle. What do you think? Is it an involuntary muscle or a voluntary muscle?
Involuntary.
Like the heart? So if the stomach is not allowed to stop, the stomach has to work. Right, because the heart is involuntary. That means the heart, if it stops, that's it. We go. But so the stomach is a voluntary muscle, which means it needs times to rest. But we tend to forget that. And because of that, we end up having so many problems. And what I realized, the problems with the digestive system have been so common that people even forgot how it feels to really feel good without having to take antacids or take this for digestion, this. If you look on the internet, they sell a bunch of stuff. This is good for your digestion. This is good for this is good for that, which a lot of the time, it doesn't really work that much. It's just, the advertisement. You can sell even sand if you know how to market it well. So that's what I learned. But today we'll be reminded of a few steps that we can probably do without spending hardly any money and try to help our digestion. Now also, another important organ is pancreas. Pancreas is also the place where the insulin is produced. So every time we eat, the pancreas, the beta cells from the pancreas produces the insulin. So now if we constantly eat, if every hour we keep eating, that pancreas does not get any rest because it constantly has to address the issue. Now what does it happen when you keep working and working and working and working and never stop? What's happening in the end? You'll collapse. So we see we have a lot of issues because of that. And again, it's something that people do not seem to sometimes pay attention, because the sad part, the medical system is not made in such a way to teach people lifestyle. It's made to deal with symptoms. So when you go to the doctor, your symptoms will be dealt with, not the cause most of the time. Because there is no time for that. To find the cause, you need more than 15 minutes per visit. You need an hour or 2 hours to discuss all the issues. So that's why we have to do a lot of reading on our own to learn to deal with the cause, not just the symptom. And then we have the small intestines, where food is mixed with the digestive enzymes and with the bile. And then here where the nutrients are absorbed into the bloodstream. And then it passes into the large intestine. And As you see, they are made of two parts, the colon and the rectum, and that's where the water gets reabsorbed. And what happens when we don't get enough water? You know, when the pipes at home in the plumbing system there, when the pipes get clogged, the same happened here. If we don't drink enough water, if you don't eat enough fiber, we get clogged up. And that produces other problems too. So these are very basic things that sometimes we just seem to neglect them, and they can be solved without even medication in most cases. You just eat more fiber, drink more water, and then everything will run as it should be. So this is just a short overview to kind of have an idea what happened with the food, because it's always nicer when you kind of visualize how much work our bodies is doing when we eat. Now, something that's very important, that the way God created us, everything is structured. Nothing is chaotic, the way God created. So God placed an order, a circadian rhythm for sleep and also for digestion. So maintaining a structured meal schedule is very crucial if we want to have an optimal digestion and nutrient absorption. It's not enough to just eat whatever we know it's good. It's important how we eat, when we eat, because we can eat all the good foods, but if we don't really maintain that structured meal, we may not end up absorbing most of the nutrients. So as we talked about, the stomach functions as a voluntary muscle, which is activated only when food is present, and thus requires rest periods similar to other voluntary muscles. So by adhering to a consistent meal schedule, digestive efficiency and nutrient absorption are significantly improved. Additionally, regular mealtime supports healthy insulin secretion and pancreatic function. Now, this is the counsel that's been given to us over 150 years ago. It's evidence-based out there. So it is the custom and order of society to take a slight breakfast. In a lot of countries, even the word breakfast is called like a small dinner, kind of. That's the word that's used in a few other cultures, because people don't look at breakfast as something that's a large meal. That's why most people skip breakfast. So but this is not the best way to treat the stomach. At breakfast time, the stomach is in better condition to take care of more food than at the second or third meal of the day. The habit of eating a sparing breakfast and a large dinner is wrong. Make your breakfast correspond more nearly to the heartiest meal of the day. Because if we follow that rule, if we eat a good, hearty breakfast, then we have a normal lunch, and then dinner, sometimes we can even skip it or have a light dinner, then you'll be all hungry in the morning. But if you have the heaviest meal at night, it's hard to be hungry in the morning. You're still feeling kind of groggy. Now, it is recommended to consume water approximately 30 minutes prior to meals, and about 1 hour after eating. Between meals, water and unsweetened herbal teas are beneficial, while caffeinated beverages should be avoided. Engaging in a light walk for at least 15 minutes after each meal supports digestion. And then refrain from sleeping, which most people tend to do that, immediately after eating, as this can negatively affect digestive efficiency. And it's been already proven over and over that 15 minutes of slight walk, it can regulate also the blood sugar, because especially those who struggle with keeping the blood sugar in check, walking really helped greatly. I know when I used to work in the cardiac and rehab, we had a lot of people that we had to check their sugar before starting exercise and after. You'd be amazed, in an hour of they wouldn't run, they would just walk very lightly, sometimes just half an hour, their sugars would drop amazingly nicely. It was just amazing to just see, just slight walk, how much good it can do. Now, this is again a counsel that it's so heavily neglected, and it's something that keeps giving us so much problems that we live with the problems because we are so accustomed to it. So many make a mistake in drinking cold water with their meals. Food should not be washed down. Taken with meals, water diminishes the flow of the saliva. And the colder the water, the greater the injury to the stomach. Ice water or ice lemonade taken with meals will arrest until the system has imparted sufficient warmth to the stomach to enable it to take up its work again. Masticate slowly and allow the saliva to mingle with the food. Now, why is it wrong to drink water? It's because when when the stomach is ready to take food, when already had its period of rest, about 4 or 5 hours of rest, then all the digestive juices are in the stomach ready to grasp the food that's coming and digest it. Now, if we drink with the meals, all those digestive juices will be diluted, which means you will feel bloated. The digestion will take much longer, and we don't gain the nutrients that were intended to be from the food that we just ate. And especially if you keep eating, as I see pretty much almost at work, almost everyone does it. Every time, just get a snack of this, get a snack of that. In my mind, so when is your stomach getting a rest? And then, oh, I'm feeling so tired. Oh, I need more coffee. Like, boom, another jug of coffee. And then, oh, but then I have headache. I need coffee. I need this. And I see this is like a vicious cycle. And the problem is because we're just neglecting very basic things. If you drink enough water before your meals, half an hour, then you will help all these digestive juices to be formed so that the digestion will not be impaired. These are very simple counsels that we need to keep in mind. Another big enemy of digestion is the very common vinegar, and even the apple cider vinegar with the mother, which everyone makes a big thing out of it. But it actually has so many harmful effects on the stomach. First of all, the acetic acid, which is the main component in vinegar, irritates the lining of the stomach, leading to gastritis. Any of you had gastritis? I can tell you, I've had it because I was not raised to eat healthy. I wasn't raised to know what's good, what's not good. Let me tell you, gastritis, it's a killer. It's no fun. You cannot even think straight. It's so hard to deal with. And then ulcers. Any of you had ulcers or know people who had ulcers? Oh my friend would even stand on her head. There was so much pain they didn't know how to stand, what to do because of pain. Gastritis, ulcers are very, very painful. And also indigestion. Now, vinegar is a very strong acid. I use it in cleaning. So in my house, you find vinegar in cleaning. Cleans very well the floor, especially wood floors, so it's excellent cleaner. But I would not put it inside of me because, I don't want the lining of my stomach to be irritated, and it's very serious. And I know it's very common, it's in everything, that's why we gotta read labels, and we gotta eat foods that are simple, that will not give us so many issues. Now, use lemon juice. I use lemon juice a lot, and lemon juice does not have the same effects on the stomach, and it gives you also good vitamin C. So these are just a few things that, it's good to keep in mind. Now, for those who are interested, how much should I eat what? So the basis of our diet should be whole grains. The 6 servings, which a serving is about half a cup, then vegetables, fruit, seeds and nuts, and as you can see, we don't need a lot of seeds and nuts. We need to make sure we eat the right complex carbohydrates, and the body will have enough nutrients to take care of the needs. So God said in His Word in 3 John 1:2 that I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health, just as your soul prospers. So because God has given us so much advice on health, He does care about how we feel, not just spiritually, but physically. Now, it's up to us if we want to implement this, if we want to feel better or not. We'll always suffer the consequences if not. So, again, it's our choice. May the Lord help us to follow His advice.